Toastmasters. But just wanted to say a warm welcome to both of you. Would either of you like to introduce yourself and tell us how you found out about us and your interest in Toastmasters?
Yeah, sure. I can go first. Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Bala. I live here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I work as a data analyst at Wells Fargo. And how did I find out about Toastmasters? Well, I was having a hard time with my presentations and showcasing my work at my job. So one of my friends, believe it or not, recommended that I try Toastmasters. So I did Google and found a few Toastmasters in the Charlotte area, and I saw that Queen City Toastmasters, like I guess David just said, has been in existence for a long time. So I thought it might be a good avenue uh, to try and improve my public speaking skills.
Wonderful. Well, that's awesome that you found us and that your friend recommended Toastmasters. I think quite a few of us have probably started in that same way where maybe we had some work presentations coming up and we thought, well, I'd like to increase my confidence, and someone recommended Toastmasters, so here I am. But it's great to have you join us, and hopefully we'll see you back at some of our future meetings as well.
Yep, thank
Wonderful.
you.
Welcome. And hello also to Kimberly. Would you like to say hello and just how you found us and your interest in Toastmasters?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Let me just see if I can catch you up on my phone. Okay. Well, I'm a part of three Toastmasters in District 46, and the pandemic brought some good things and bad things. The great thing about the pandemic is that Toastmasters is now online, and I get to check out every club and try not to join every club, but what's wrong with 3 or 4 more Toastmasters memberships, right? So I might join this one. I'm not sure. If you stay online, I will. So that way I could just come in and come online from New York. And I've joined Toastmasters because I wanted to improve on my public speaking. I actually entered the speech contest. First time I didn't make it out the club. Second time I made it to the area. But you know what? I could keep on trying. Maybe I actually make it all the way up to the world championship if I, keep on trying. But I just love meeting new people in Toastmasters and seeing how they do it and learning from them, because you can learn from everybody. So I'm just glad I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Well, we are glad that you are here joining us all the way from New York. And we actually have another Toastmaster who frequently tunes in online, also from New York. So it's such a small world, you're right, with the pandemic. And
Yay.
I think we are planning to keep it a hybrid option so people can attend both
Good.
online and in person. So if you're ever in Charlotte, I know David would love to have you visit in person too, if you want
Oh,
to.
well, I'm thinking about relocating too. So that'll be great. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. And David, I guess I'll turn it back to you if you have some guests in person.
I do. And I realize I made a mistake. I see Sean as joke master, and I also asked Turk to be inspirational. So Bailey, we're going to have a joke master and an inspirational. Or are you doing inspiration? Or did you do the wrong type? Is that joke master on there, Sean?
So you said someone else signed up for a inspirational master?
Yes. Are you doing inspirational or joke?
I'm doing the joke. So.
All right, so we'll have both. We're gonna have a joke from you, and then we'll have inspirational from Turk. So that'll work out perfect. All right, and then we have a few guests here. 2 guests. Hello. I think Jenny, right? Jenny from Miami. So Natalie and I are also from Miami. So it's great to have her. I know you all can't hear her, so I am gonna repeat what she says. But how did you hear about us, and why did you come here? Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. What she said was pretty much what everybody here has said. We can talk to our friends and our family and our acquaintances very easily, but just getting up and doing public speaking is very difficult, and that's why she's here. And she's also Miami, so she's really cool. And I think I'm trying to read it. It says Alice or Allie. And how do you find out about us? Mhm. Yeah. Right. Okay. I won't repeat all that, but same thing. She needs to work on, she's going back to work and she needs to start learning how to do public speaking like all of us do. And yeah, so tonight's going to be fun because we have Bailey here and she's going to be our Toastmaster. First time we've had a Toastmaster in person. I think I might have been Toastmaster once, but I was all alone here, so it didn't count. But we're going to see how it works out. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome Bailey and let her take over the meeting.
This is weird, like going back and forth. Anyway, good evening, everybody. I hope you all had a great weekend. So today I chose relaxation and wellness. By a show of hands, how many of y'all work from home currently? How many is like a hybrid structure? And then fully back to the office? Okay, so a little bit of everything. So no matter what kind of structure your company has you in these days, I would say that working in a COVID situation has really made it difficult in terms of stress and has made it even more difficult to sort of cope with it. So that's why I sort of picked the wellness and relaxation theme for today, sort of as a reminder to all of us to sort of take care of ourselves, right? So I brought some healthy snacks here today. So eating healthy, reading, writing. One advice I really took on, or I heard about, was to step back and sort of take a couple deep breaths. So to start out our meeting, I would all like us to just, on the count of 3, take a deep breath in and out. So 1, 2, 3. All right, now, was I on mute the whole time? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now that we're all sort of relaxed and ready to go, I'm gonna turn it on over to our joke master, Sean.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. As your joker, can you hear me? I heard some noise. All right. Sorry, I have to start over. Well, today's topic is wellness and relaxation and wellness, which I don't have much tips about it. I think Bailey already gave us a great tip on how to relax. Basically pause and do a deep breath, and that certainly helps with the public speaking part as well. I do think that another great tip is to actually just make fun of something, which is telling jokes, right? Certainly will be helpful on relaxation part. After all, laughter is mostly a lot of times the best medicine, right? So are you ready for a Laffy Taffy joke? I mean, personally, I just like Laffy Taffy because of the Q&A format that just get people to think, ask a question, and right, people stop thinking, and then they finally took a few seconds, and oh, the answer was pretty easy, and it made sense. Which I'm gonna start telling one, which is, how is a bad joke like a pencil? Has anybody heard before? Oh, it's a bad joke, like a broken pencil, actually. Sorry, I failed. Broken pencil. Yeah, I missed the key part, broken pencil. Basically, a broken pencil has no point. I guess it's one of those bad jokes. The key point is to get you relaxed and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day. And I leave it to Turk to give you most of the inspirational stuff.
Thank you, Sean. We'll move it over to Balut for inspiration. Turk.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, Madam Toastmaster. Hi, everyone. Let's not kid ourselves. We want to be good Toastmasters because we want to influence people. We want to sell them. We want to change their mind. We want them to pay us more money. We want them to become our lovers. Whatever it is, the reason that you're here is because you want to influence people. And in order for us to influence others, first thing that we must do is walk our talk. Now, I'll tell you this. I am one of those people who always get vanity plates, so I wanted to upgrade my latest one. And they gave me an option of 3 North Carolina state plates. One of them is the First in Flight, the other one is First in Revolution, and the third one, it says Esse quam videre, which is North Carolina state seal, which means to being rather than to seem. That's the difference between people who learn to just speak good, and then those of us who actually spend time and work on our trade to become better speakers so we can actually influence others in a way that we foresee. And therefore, my challenge for you today is to be rather than to seem. Just embody who you're trying to be, and then give your speeches that way, give your evaluations that way, and also be present that way. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for that. That was really great. Now we're going to move on to our timer for today, which is Julian.
Hey everyone, I'll be your timer this evening. It's my job to time all the prepared speeches and the impromptu speeches, and as well as the evaluations. Prepared speeches go for 5 to 7 minutes. Table topics are 1 to 2 minutes, and evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. And you'll have a 30-second grace period on the beginning and end of those. And for guests, if you would like to participate in the impromptu speeches, don't worry about the time and just do your best. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Julian, appreciate that update for the timers report. Now we're going to move over to our speeches today. We have 2 great speeches. We have Natalie and Balut today, and Natalie is our first speaker of today, and she has her topic of, do you know how to H2O? So without further ado, please help me welcome Natalie.
I want to invite you all to close your eyes. Envision you're running. It's a hot day. It's 92 degrees out. You've been running for an hour and the temperature is rising. Feel the flush on your face, your skin gets clammy, you're sweating, and you're just strides away from your door. As you make it through your doorway, you head to the kitchen. Now envision the first thing you grab. Wake up, open your eyes, and tell me what you grabbed when you went into the kitchen. Everyone in the room said is water. On Zoom, did you all grab water as well?
Yes.
Now, what kind of water did you drink? Temperature, pace, how did you drink it? Tell me. Alkaline water? Alkaline water is awesome. Anyone else? Did you drink it? Tap water? What was the temperature? Room temperature.
Cold
Anyone?
from the fridge.
What was that, Vanessa?
Cold from the fridge.
Cold from the fridge. And did you drink fast or slow?
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast. Now that's all quite common and intuitive. I want to hold on that scenario. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Natalie, and I'm wondering, do you even H2O? By show of hands, how many of you daily get your accurate water intake? Awesome, quite a bit of you. Now, you can either keep your hands up or raise them again if you feel like you could do better at your water consumption daily. Okay, there's a few people on Zoom and in the room as well. And then last question, keeping your hand up or raising it again. How many of you feel like you know the right ways to drink water? All right, two people. Well, tonight I'm going to elaborate, but I want to start with, most of us know that water is important. 70% of the Earth's surface is created of water, and our bodies, which we are parallel to the Earth, are 70% water as well. 1 in 3 people throughout the globe does not have access to safe and clean water. That's according to the World Health Organization and UNICEF. That's about 2.2 billion people globally without safe access to clean water. Taking that into consideration, I would say in the US, we're quite fortunate. We have an abundance of water. We have access to clean drinking water 24/7. Again, those numbers just reflect access to drinking water. That doesn't even take into account water used for showering or other life purposes. For all the water, 2.2 billion without access to water globally. Thank you. That's a great question. Actually, I'll collect all questions at the end and we'll have a Q&A session. Thanks so much, Blue. Now, taking those numbers into account, I found when I was growing up that I took for granted this access to water that we had. I was raised in a Catholic household, and 1 year for Lent in middle school, I decided to give up soda. That was my vice. I woke up and drank soda just like many of us now as adults drink coffee. And as adults, we drink coffee. And I discovered after that 40-day period that I no longer craved coffee. Is there something you'd like to share with the group, Ollie? I did give up juice also, no sugars. Thanks, that's a great question. Again, I'll be answering questions at the end. It did not exist at that time, but we'll save questions till the end. So again, coffee consumption was like my caffeine consumption at that age. And I gave up all caffeine in middle school, but it took me a while to discover the appropriate way and quantity of water. So tonight, what I want to share with you all is how to drink water and how to shift your mindset from I have to do this to I get to do this daily. And I want to start with 3 principles. I know it's hard to see for those of you on Zoom, and I'm sorry for my handwriting, those of you in the room. But first, we're going to talk about determining your quantity. Then we're going to talk about optimizing the energy of your water and how to choose it. And then we'll go through tips and benefits of water consumption. And I hope you all are paying attention because I have a fun giveaway at the end. So, quantity. Now you've probably heard 8 glasses of 8-ounce water a day. That's a good starting point, but you can get more specific. you take your weight and you cut it in half. So if you weighed 120 pounds, you cut that in half and your daily water intake is 60 ounces. Now, if you work out, you want to add 8 ounces for every 15 minutes. So somebody who was working out 45 minutes would take in 24 ounces additional of water. So for that 120-pound person, they would be consuming 84 ounces of water if they're working out. Now, energizing your water. You want to energize your water. Water has memory. And so this comes down to the vessel. That is how specific it is. Vessel meaning how you're carrying your water. I have a setup here, and I know it might be a little bit difficult to see on Zoom, but I have a gallon, which I personally use daily. Thank you, David, which I personally use daily. And plastic water bottles are okay, but they're not ideal because they contain BPA. So I'd use plastic water bottles only if you're in a pinch and there's not an alternative. And the way to troubleshoot that when we talk about energetics further is you can add energy to your water to help optimize it. But the reason that BPA is harmful is that over time, it will affect your hormones and will create other issues within your body. Now, energizing your water. This is thinking positive thoughts, speaking positive thoughts, and taking simple actions such as putting a flower, or this personally is mine, a lavender stick, something that symbolizes you. I fill my water bottle up each night, and then you just leave whatever that symbol is for you, a flower, lavender, overnight, and it helps to energize it. This isn't something that I'm creating. I actually wanted to show you a slide, but we had a little bit of technical difficulty. So I'm going to ask you to use your phones, and you can just Google the words water molecules, positive words. This is scientific proven fact that water has molecular energy and is impacted by our vibration. I'll try to hold it up here to the screen, but again, that's water molecules, positive words. Not sure if you all can see that, but if you found the image, you'll see that this was a study conducted in Japan, and words such as compassion, thank you, wisdom, all optimize the crystals in a positive way. Then heavy metal music or words like I will kill you with a lower vibration actually destroyed the water molecules. So think about that when you're consuming your water. That's why when you drink from the water bottles, plastic water bottles, you can actually speak positively and give your positive intention. Even something as simple as I am hydrated, I am nourished, will help to create benefits within the water. Now, tips and benefits overall for making water work for you. Consistency is key. Drink water, your daily water intake consistently, and you're going to reap the benefits. Also, your posture is really important when you're drinking water. So probably in that scenario, when we ran into the kitchen, we gulped it and drank it standing up. Well, that's actually not beneficial because you're creating inflammation in your joints and throughout your body. So what you want to be doing is actually sitting down, as many of you are on Zoom and in the room. That's the perfect posture for drinking your water. You want to sip versus chug, which is counterintuitive to that running scenario, and sip mindfully so that you can ease into digestion. The same thing with temperature. You want to have either room temperature or warm water versus cold water, because again, that impacts the digestive flow. And the benefits that you get are numerous. I've been drinking my gallon for quite a while now, and I call it water clarity. There's a sense of creativity and clearness that you get. I would also say if you're drinking coffee, tea, or alcohol, to increase your water intake as well, match it. So another 8 ounces for every 8 ounces of those beverages that you drink, because diuretics create loss of water through urine. And other benefits that you get through the water are decrease of belly bloating. You'll actually recognize when you're hungry, because a lot of times we feel like we're hungry, but it's actually that we're craving water. So you may actually lose weight as a result of drinking water. The benefits are countless. At this time, I want to invite you all to participate in the giveaway. I'm going to ask a question based on what I've shared with you now. If you're on Zoom, I will save the gift for you or mail it to you. The question is, what percentage of our bodies are made of water? 70%. Great, Jenny, you are the winner of a water bottle so that you can hydrate. So I will give that to you in just a second. And I want to invite you all to ask any questions if you have them now. Otherwise, I will share my contact information and you can follow up with me at your leisure. Any questions? Okay.
My question is, how do you tell, because you know, like, how tap water tastes like on your certain type of water. What are the things to look at, like, on here when you look at tap water?
Yeah, so you want to look at the source of your water and where it comes from. That's important. Also, like, has anything been added to the water? And also just check at the water company's practices. There's also really high quality filters that you could get for your house. For instance, a Berkey filter is a great investment to get into your house. And it is a aluminum container and it refills and purifies the water. So some of those options can be costly, but they're well worth it because there is a difference between the quality of your water, but you can always energize it. Any other questions? All right, thank you. At this time, I want to invite you to grab your water. And I would like to invite you to exercise your freedom to drink water and life, liberty, and the pursuit of hydration. Cheers. I'm going to sit and take my own advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. That was a great speech, and I've definitely learned more about hydration, and I need to do a way better job of it, that's for sure. I do want to backtrack before I introduce Balut. I forgot our grammarian, Tiffany. I'm sorry about that. Could you give a little description on what your job and task is for today?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name's Tiffany, and thank you, Madam Toastmaster, too. I'll be your grammarian today, and I'll be looking for filler words like and, you know, so, and also I do have a word of the day. Tranquility is the word of the day, so feel free to use it. And back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Now we'll have our second speaker here, Balut. He is in his level 5 pathways. And so without further ado, here is Balut.
Once upon a time, there lived a Zen master and a professor from the US went to visit this Zen master in his mountain hut. And this professor studied Zen for years and years. So when he entered this master's hut, the master poured him some tea and started listening to the professor. As the professor was drinking his tea, he talked about Zen on and on and on. Eventually, the master started filling his professor's teacup again, very calmly, in a very tranquil way. He filled it up to the brim and continued. So the teacup started overflowing. The professor at first found this very odd, but didn't say anything. And the master kept pouring. There's tea everywhere. And eventually the professor couldn't keep himself and asked, "Master, why do you keep pouring? It's full." And the master said, "For you to take on new insight, you must first empty your cup. Your cup is full. I cannot give you more. Whatever I tell you will go away. For me to be helpful to you, you must first empty your cup. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Today, I will share with you more stories like this so that you can think about and have a more calm, clear, and open mind. I hope what you take away from my stories today is that you must change your mind to change your world. Another story. Once upon a time, there lived a stone cutter. That stone cutter was not satisfied with himself and where he was in life. He wanted to be more, do more. And in his shop one day, he came across a merchant with really nice clothes and brimming with light from all the gold that this merchant had on him. And the stonecutter thought, oh, how powerful this merchant must be. I wish I could be a merchant. And in the blink of an eye, our stonecutter turned into a merchant. He had all of those fancy clothes, started walking down the street, carrying all of that brimming jewelries on him. He felt great. Just as he was feeling great about himself, the king and his parade started walking by. The king was being carried in his throne in the streets, and as the king was passing by, everyone was bowing to the king. The merchant thought, oh, how powerful this king must be. I wish I could be this king. And boom, he was the king. So now the king was being carried in his throne in the streets, everybody bowing to him. And he was wearing a cloak and very fancy fur clothes. Yet the sun was shining bright on everyone, including the king. So the king got uncomfortable, sweating, and thought, oh, how powerful the sun is. I wish I could be the sun. Boom, the king became the sun. As the sun revolved, no, the sun does not revolve. As the sun stood in its magnificence at the center of our galaxy, it shone on everyone. But one day, a cloud came by and blocked the sun's light. The sun was upset that it could not touch everyone with its magnificence and thought, oh, how powerful this cloud is. I wish I could be the sun. I wish I could be the cloud. Oh, the sun became the cloud. And the cloud was so big and puffy and flowed in the air seamlessly. And everybody admired the cloud. And fun fact for the audience, bulut in Turkish means cloud. So the cloud is very magnificent and powerful. Until the cloud realized that it was going in all sorts of directions that the wind carried it. It only flowed with the wind, and it could not resist the power that came from it. So it thought, oh, how powerful the wind is. I wish I could be the wind. And boom, the cloud became the wind. And the wind blew and blew and blew. It felt very powerful until it hit a huge, towering rock. And then it thought, oh, how powerful this rock must be. I wish I could be the rock. And then boom, it was the rock. In its magnificence, in its towering presence overall. Until it started to feel a chisel going into it, bit by bit. And then The rock thought, what must be more powerful than me, the rock? And then realized and saw a small stone cutter fizzling away at the rock. Change your mind to change your world. You could be the stone cutter. You need to see yourself for all the beauty that you carry within yourself. The beauty is not there or here or elsewhere. It is within you. It is right here. It is right now. Another story. Two students, or let me say two travelers, went to a Zen master. And one of them walked in the doors first and said, "Hey, master, I'm not from here. I would like to move to this city. What is it like over here?" And the Zen master paused and asked, "What is it like in your current city?" And the traveler said, "Oh, it's terrible. I don't like my city at all. The people are mean and they don't listen to each other. They're always rushing, and I want to move away. I don't want to be in my old city." And the Zen master replied, "Well, you won't like it very much here. This city is just the same. The people are mean and it's not fun here. You should not come." The second traveler walked in after the first one left and said, "Master, I'd like to move to this city. What is it like over here?" And the Zen master replied, "What is it like in your own city?" "Oh, it's so fun. The people are amazing. I love my current city. I would like to move just for a change of scenery." And the Zen master gleefully replied and said, "Oh, you will love it here. You will find this city just the same, with people overflowing with joy and bringing the best of the world to you." Change your mind to change your world. Is in how you see things. You can you can go anywhere. The only thing you carry with yourself is your mind and how you see the world. Another story. Once upon a time, there lived two bright girls. These girls were the smartest in their village, and they were also pranksters. They liked to do pranks on everyone. And they knew that this Zen master lived at the top of the mountain. And because they knew they could prank anyone, they decided to pull a prank on this master. And it was known that this Zen master was never wrong. He could never be tricked into saying anything wrong. But these girls had an idea. One of them said, "Let's catch a butterfly, put it in our hands, and go up to this master and ask him, is this butterfly dead or alive? And if he says it's dead, we'll just open our hands and the butterfly will fly and the master will be wrong. And if he says the butterfly is alive, we will gently crush it and it will be dead by the time we show it to him and he will be wrong." So these girls got really excited that they were going to trick this master to be wrong for the first time. And they knocked on the door. An old man opened the door, and these girls, giggling, asked, "Master, master, master, we have a butterfly in our hands. We know you can know, is it dead or alive?" The master stood there calmly and said, "It's in your hands. Whether it's alive or dead, it's in your hands." And the master was right. That often in life, it is in our hands to determine the fate of where we go and how we are true to ourselves and others. We know, and others, we can try to trick others, but in the end, we will know what's true for us. I got one more story for you all, and I'll open it up for questions. There was once an eager young student. He just entered the temple and went to his master and said, Master, 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 I am very ambitious. I want to be a master. I want to be a master as soon as I can. How long will it take me? And the master said, it'll take you 10 years. The student was so upset. That's so long. Master, I'm going to work twice as hard. I'm going to do everything I can. How soon can I be a master if I work just so hard, harder than anyone else? And the master said, it'll take you 20 years. The student was even more frustrated this time. He's like, Master, Master, I will work even harder. I don't understand why you went from 10 years to 20 years. I worked so hard. You won't believe. I won't sleep. I won't do anything but focus on my training. How long will it take me? And the master said, it'll take you 30 years. Sometimes we try so hard. And sometimes that effort gets in our way. That it all starts in our mind. It all starts being present, focusing ourselves on the here and now, and taking it as it comes. Nature never rushes. Look at all the seas, look at all the wind, look at all the trees. Never rushes. Yet, it all gets it done. Gets it all done. Seasons come and go, the flowers bloom, the sun rises every day, and it sets. Yet it never rushes. So take these stories with you. I could tell you all the advice, I could tell you all the tips. I hope these stories stick with you today, and I hope you can take them and change your mind so you can change your world. We've got some time. I'm happy to take any questions from the group and give more insight to these stories. Otherwise, we can end early too. Yes, Ali. Yes. So what Ali is asking, sometimes you get hard, sometimes everything feels like it's working against you. In those situations, how do you keep your mind on the here and now? That's an excellent question. And sometimes that's very true. Last year, we all got hit with a pandemic. For some of us, it meant losing family. For some of us, it meant losing our jobs. For some of us, it meant that now we had to work from home and juggle all sorts of family responsibilities, childcare, parental care. Sometimes it does truly feel like all the cards are stacked against you. And it is hard. It is hard to focus on the here and now and not know what's going to happen in the future. Yes. What I find helpful in those situations is focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. I know it sounds simple and it's easier said than done, but there's often something that you can focus. You can take a breath and slow down. You can drink a glass of water. You can go to bed. You can talk to someone. But a lot of things that you can control, even though it may feel like there isn't. Focus on what you can control, let go of what you can't. What else? Yes. So the question is, if you're working really hard and you have the opportunity to take a break or push, which one should you choose? That's a great question. And the answer obviously is it depends. And I'd like to take that question to the next level and And it's not just about one thing. And sometimes I find the struggle of how do I pace myself? When is it worth for me to give the extra effort? When is it worth going the extra mile? Or let go for the day and know that I'll wake up tomorrow to get to? That's an excellent question. And there's no easy answer. And what I find helpful for myself is that the extra mile, the extra effort, when should you push? I find that if it's going to be a life or death situation, if it's so extreme that if you don't do it, something is going to go on fire. And this is where the judgment comes into play. It often feels like things that are not actually on fire, life-threatening, they seem like they do, and that's when it's hard to let go. And when do I pace myself? When I know that this problem or a similar type of problem is going to be there tomorrow, and it's okay for it to be there tomorrow again. I know that's not a very good answer, but it's what I try to gauge is it life-threatening or not? And if it is, it's worth the extra push. Most things can wait. These were excellent questions. Thank you for listening to my stories. Keep them in mind so you can change your mind, so you can change your world. Thank you, everyone.
What an excellent speech, Baloo. That was really inspiring. I loved hearing the different stories about what you can control and not getting overwhelmed with what you can. It sort of fits with the theme tonight, along with Natalie's with the hydrating and just wellness and relaxation, because we have been through so much and it's important to take care of ourselves and make that our priority for sure. So I'm going to move over to the timers report for Julian for the 2 speeches.
Yeah, we had 2 speakers. Natalie, you were around 11 minutes and 15 seconds. And I wasn't sure if you had an extended speech or anything, but that would be over if you didn't. Baloo, you were at 18 minutes and 17 seconds. And for those who didn't know, he was doing a speech for from 18 minutes to 22 minutes. So he did qualify. Back to you.
Thanks, Julian. Now we'll move over to our table topics, Master Lon. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Lon, and I am your table topic master for tonight. And as a table topic master, my role is to kind of organize a few questions so that anybody can participate. It is designed for to think on your feet, and it is an impromptu speech, 1 to 2 minutes. And it should be fun because these questions are not hard. So without further ado, do I have a first volunteer for tonight? If you don't volunteer, I'll start picking on somebody. Okay, Jimmy, thank you. First questions. Do you schedule a time specifically for relaxation? And if you do, how is it working out for you?
Yes, for me, I'm thankful for all the technology that's available to us now. With work, I use a platform called Cortana that's available through, I guess it's what, Outlook, I believe. And that gives you a chance to schedule breaks or answer messages or set up things in regards to important things to do, right? Like trainings, situations like that. And in the past, I just used to cram everything I could in a given time frame. So if the word tranquility is a measure of stress relief. That's something that I never did because I was just so concerned with how much I can get done in a given time frame. So that type of platform helps me. Listening to the speeches in regards to water and dealing with the various stories that Balut had about the Zen master are all key elements to just helping me to realize that I need to do this still more often. My wife still gets on me in regards to taking breaks and lunches. Even though I may work from home, if I'm traveling, it's very difficult for me because I get so caught up in the everyday activities. But yes, I mean, it's very important and it helps keep a tranquil state. So thank you for that question. And back to you, Lon.
All right, thank you, Jimmy, for volunteering, and that was really interesting. I've never heard of Cortana. I think I do have a program on my computer, but I wasn't sure if you could actually use that to sketch your stuff, but good point. I'll probably check that out. Yes, David.
We have our newest member, Jamie. He would like to take a question from you.
Okay. All right, second question. What do you like to do when you get a free time?
What do I like to do when I get free time? Thank you for the question. There's a couple things that come to mind. Exercise is one of the things that I really enjoy doing in my free time. I find that it relaxes me. I find that it allows me to sleep better. I find that I feel better about myself and more confident at the end of it, and it brings a certain tranquility through my life. Another thing that I like to do is spend time with my family, so play board games with my kids. It's always fun to see them sort of grow into themselves and become more strategic, how they think about playing the game, and they get incredibly thrilled when they beat me, which unfortunately happens more often these days. And then the last thing I would say is I love to watch movies. And not always good movies, unfortunately. I do have a penchant for bad movies, bad action films specifically. In fact, I like to go onto Rotten Tomatoes and find movies that get really bad ratings and then determine if I like them, just because I like to be counter to the rest of culture. So those are some of the things I like to do for relaxation, but thank you again for the question.
Thank you. I also like action movies, but I don't like to exercise though. All right, do we have another questions? Do we have time for one more?
I'll let Bailey tell you.
Okay.
Hey, Lon. I think we're at our time capacity for now. So thank you for the questions. They were really good ones and great answers. So we're going to move along here and we're going to go for a timers report for the table topics. So Julian, if you can give us an update on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, Jimmy, you were right at 1 minute and 30 seconds. You qualified. And was it Jamie, our new member? If so, he was at 57 seconds. So he was right under, but very close. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. We are going to move on over to our general evaluator, which I don't believe we have one.
Yeah, it's me.
Angelica, I'm sorry about that. Angelica.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And I'm going to try to go very quickly because I know we are running out of time. But tonight I am your general evaluator. My job tonight is divided in 4 different sections. The first section I'm going to introduce our evaluators. Then I will ask for the timing report. I will evaluate the meeting as a whole. And finally, I will ask for the grammarian report. So let's start with our evaluator for tonight. Tonight, we have kind of a different dynamic for our speeches, but Vanessa is going to talk about Natalie's speech. So Vanessa, welcome and take it over.
Thank you, Angelica. And thank you, Natalie, for your excellent speech. And I have to say, first of all, that you are a woman after my own heart because I work in the water industry. I actually work for water utilities. And so when you started talking about water, my ears automatically pricked up and I was really excited to hear what you had to say. And in fact, the subject of your speech was particularly helpful for me because during these very warm summer months, I tend to not drink enough water. And it is a really good reminder, very apropos for the season we are in right now. And I wanted to highlight a few things because even if I hadn't been interested in water, I still would have found your speech very engaging and very well done. And there were a few things you did especially well tonight. One thing that I admired was your use of really relaxed body language and engagement with your audience. You had a difficult task of having to respond graciously to people in the audience who would interrupt you at very awkward times during your speech. And you had this very relaxed, tranquil body language and way of connecting with your audience. That is something that I think all of us want to work on so that we too can feel more comfortable with whoever happens to be joining us and listening to our speech. And that was something I'd like to emulate going forward is your relaxed and tranquil approach to your speech. I also noticed that your vocal variety and very conversational tone of voice came across as just very pleasant to listen to. And it's sometimes a habit. I've noticed this with myself, especially if I haven't prepared and I'm feeling a little bit more nervous than usual, that I will start getting into vocal fry. And that is when your voice kind of goes like kind of tense and it feels kind of like you have a frog in your throat. But your voice was absolutely the polar opposite. It was bird-like. It was very free. It flowed. It almost sounded like you were a singer. I don't know if you are, but it sounded very effortless, adding to that vibe of tranquility in your speech. And finally, I wanted to highlight that because you're such an excellent speaker, for your next speech, you might want to challenge yourself to also incorporate more of an inspirational tone into what you're talking about. I know that tonight you were more informational, but maybe for your next speech, you could consider a more inspirational topic that can be a little bit harder and a little bit more emotional about audience connection. But I do think that your skills are absolutely ready for that. And regardless of what your next topic is, I have to say I will be eager to hear from you in your next speech. So excellent job. And I will turn it back over to Toastmaster Angelica.
Thank you, Vanessa. Excellent evaluation. I agree with you. I think that you give us such a key topics about Natalie's speech that are very helpful for everybody just to kind of keep following and do it for our own speeches. So thank you again. Now we are moving with our second evaluator, who is Ali Tobin, and who has a really fun job to evaluate such a dynamic speech that Balut gave to us tonight. Ali, take it over.
I just want all of us to clap our hands for Blue. Number one, he came. He's in person. This is the first time I met this man in person before. So be like Blue, everybody come in person. Okay, but let's get to your speech. First, Blue, when you first came up here, I was like, he did not introduce himself. He didn't say hello, fellow Toastmaster, not a guest. And then I was like, oh my God, he told a story, didn't introduce himself. So I immediately scratched that off. So I like how you told the story and then you introduce yourself to the audience. Second thing, I'm all about hand movement. The whole time when you were telling the story, you're going like this, going like this. You know, when I give speech, I like to go like this. And I thought that was amazing. The third thing is all your stories had to do with your subject, which is mindset, which is the number one key to success is to control your mind. All of your stories have to do with mindset. Now, one thing that I do think you could have improved on, and David has talked to me about that, is using all this space. Or you can go like this on top of the steps. You can go like this and just utilizing the space a little bit more. And then another thing that I thought you could improve upon is following your story up with interaction with the audience with your questions. And then I have a quick question. Did you memorize all, did you make those stories up? Okay, did you memorize all, did you memorize all the stories in your head? Okay. Okay, I wrote that down. I was like, the fact that he memorized all those stories, because I'm telling you for a fact, I could not memorize all the stories. I would have came up here and started making stuff up in my head. And then also, I'm gonna end up with a positive note. I like how, like, even though we're in person and we're in Zoom, I like how, like, at the end when you ask questions, you repeated what we asked you to the Zoom audience where they can know what's going on. But sometimes they can't hear everything. So I thought that was an amazing job. I think this was positive. Everybody give a little round of applause. And I want to end this with a quick joke. When we come in real life, we can do stuff like this instead of like this.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Ali. That was a great evaluation. I'm going to move a little bit faster now. So I'm going to ask for our timer report first.
Yeah, we have Vanessa at 3 minutes and 2 seconds. She qualified, and Ali was at 2 minutes and 26 seconds. They both qualified. Back to you.
Thank you, Julian. Now let's evaluate the meeting as a whole. Key points, the meeting started on time, like always. The equipment was set up. Thank you, David, for our president, always working hard to make these meetings happen and happen on time. It was a nice introduction. It's nice to have back Julian as our Sergeant of Arms. I like the explanation that David gave to us about Natalie's speech. I think that it makes us to understand, and it makes it a little bit more dynamic and easy to follow. Welcome back, Vanessa. I haven't seen you for a while. I wasn't here last week, so it's great to see you and have you in the meetings. You're such an important part of the meeting, so I'm glad to see you. Thank you for the introduction and all the connections that you were doing as you did your introduction. Introduce the guests to our meeting. It was fun to have our joke role and our inspirational. Sean, I think that you said something that I do not agree. You said that you didn't have a lot of things that kind of match the theme for the night, but you have an excellent background. It's very relaxation. So you have the best background of all of us that goes perfect with the meeting. And I like your job. I was hoping that you can break the pencil. So that was great. Torque is not here in the meeting anymore, but again, like always, he was very inspirational and trying to follow his message to be rather than to see, be present. So that's good. Our timing report, great. I know it was a little bit challenging because our dynamic was a little bit different today, but you follow it. You were showing to the speakers your time. So thank you. I think that you followed perfectly and helped the meeting moving. No, grammarian, I know that it was introduced late and thank you for step up and join to the role in the last minute. We didn't have it, but I think that as you have a little bit more of time because we introduced you late, it gives you a little bit more time to think and prepare. So thank you again, and thank you for the work. I'm going to, when I finish doing my speech, I will feel tranquility that I did it. So thanks. Our table topic master, thank you. Great questions like always, and they were related to the subject. That was great, and they were easy to follow. I wish we have opportunity to do a few more, but that was great. Now, our speakers, I agree with what Vanessa and Ali said. I will add that Natalie is just, all that I can say is that you always show us such a high level of expertise in what you are talking. Seems like you, I know one of your speeches was about your hobby, that is books, and you read a lot, and I can see how much knowledge you have, and you always prepare. You always have a background. I see today you have the table. This is great. And you are putting our bar high so we can kind of learn, and trying to people like me that I'm still, trying to get more comfortable doing this. I like to see you so I can keep raising my bar and trying to get there. Balut, really great. I love the dynamic of the speech. I think that it was so different tonight, and I love how you get all these little stories. I typically go for a walk. That's kind of my relaxation time, and I like to listen. And there is a podcast about stories like that, so it's kind of fun, and it's great. Just give us a little bit of message with each of them. I love it. Thank you for that. Again, our evaluators, great job. I don't have much to add. They give us a good description of each speech. The only thing I will say challenges for tonight is that we are running a little bit of time, but because the dynamic was a little bit different. And I couldn't hear the guests that are in the room, but I understand that we have some limitations with the sound. In general, it was a great meeting. And I think that I'm going to move to ask our grammarian for her report.
Thank you, Angelica. Okay, so I'm saying so. I'm gonna start off with Bala. Bala had 2 ums and Kim had 1 Vanessa, great speech too. You had 1 so and 1 and you used the word of the day. Awesome. Jamie used that word of the day and you had about 8 ums. Bailey, great. Thank you, Toastmaster. You did great. I didn't catch not 1 I did catch 2 so's. Sean, you did 1 Balu, great speech, loved it. You used the word of the day and you used about 4 so's, only 1 but you used a lot of ands in your speech, about 11 times. And Julian didn't get any filler words. Natalie, about 4 ands and 2 so's. Lon, a couple of ands, 2 and 1 so. Jimmy, you used the word of the day too, and you used a couple of 3 so's, a couple of ands. And on to Angelica, you used over 20 about 3 so's. And Ali, you used 1 so and you used your no and only 1 Yeah, that's my report.
Thank you, Tiffany. Definitely, we have something to work on. I have something to work, especially my arms. So I think that's it. I'm going to give the meeting back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Angelica, for that great evaluation, and appreciate everybody that jumped in last minute to fill in the roles and to make it a smooth transition as possible. So I appreciate all that. The next thing on the agenda is to introduce the president. So I'm going to throw it over to David.
Gary, Betty, and I apologize to our guests. We usually don't run this late, but part of public speaking is the pathways, and you have different projects to do. And Natalie's was to be interrupted. Balu's was an 18 to 22 minute speech. Most speeches are 5 to 7 minutes, so that's why we went so long. And I stopped doing, where are my ribbons? Over here. stopped doing polls because it was kind of complicated, but of course, everybody's winners. But the best table topics goes to both our speakers. But again, since he's in person, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Jamie. So you were our winner tonight. We're doing the official award ceremony. You got one last week, or he did? He's rolling. Best evaluator. Both of them won, actually. I did a tie, but Ollie, you're in person.
This is my 20th ribbon.
20th. Ollie, so he likes the ribbons. Our best speaker, both of them were great. So I actually have, I already knew they were both going to win. So one for Natalie. And then also, I don't think you ever got a new Toastmaster. So when you come in person, you get the new Welcome to Toastmasters. And then we also have one for Duluth. I don't think you've received ribbons either. Yeah. So you come in person, you get gifts. And let me think, what else? Oh, he's showing them all. And I think that's going to be it. I know we're really late. I just want to appreciate everybody coming, especially in person, especially our guests. I know we usually ask follow-up questions, but we're going to talk to them in person here, and then we're going to go ahead and close out the meeting. We do have a board meeting after, so give us about 5 minutes to close out here, and then we'll come back to the board. Does anybody have announcements, board members, or anybody in the general before we move on? No. Again,
I just want to say thank you to Angelica. She used the word of the day, and I missed that too.
And thank you to Tiffany. It was her first time being grammarian, so I appreciate you jumping in and doing it. And then, as you all can see, we have 9 of us here tonight, so it's a wonderful outcome, and we have free water and snacks in the back. So maybe next week we'll see more of you here. So I appreciate it. Let's say goodnight, and we'll talk to everybody soon.